Invite send. We need to speak with somebody. Okay, scene 14.
Saint, what did they do to you?
I don't know. A voice spoke to me on Nessus. I could not deny its commands. It was not like any Vex I have seen. It connected to my mind and called itself the Conductor.
Exo and Vex do share radiolaria as a base material.
Maybe they were interfacing for intel on our operation.
They cared not of our plans. They measured my humanity, my legitimacy.
What do you mean?
They said, "We are a lie, Osiris. The real Saint 14 was not meant to live. You love a forgery."
Saint,
My existence is in error. You chose me because your saint is dead.
preposterous.
Almost like a simulation.
No. You're the man I knew before. To the serial number. In the corridors of time, I only peered into timelines that mirrored our own. I didn't want to pull you away from a happy life, or change you. I wanted to rescue you.
See, you're as close as mathematically possible.
Yeah.
Saint, this doesn't change anything. It's a tactic.
You feel real to me.
We know you. And you know us. You're right where you belong.
But this feeling, this displacement, it rings in my head. That voice, I hear it still. I would like to be alone. Alone, please. For now.
Yes.
I know it's useless to tell you not to worry. But try. I'll look into this.
Hey, Captain. Is Saint Unit okay? It sounded like that voice. He called it the Conductor? Is that some stuff that really got to him? I never thought I'd see him shaken up like that. He's always so strong. I figured if something bothered him, he'd just laugh it off.
But I'm sure he'll be fine. He's surrounded by people who care about him. You, Osiris, Ikora, and the whole Vanguard. No one can stay sad when they're surrounded by that much support.
I assume.
I'll continue processing all the samples you've extracted from Nessus. Now that the Conductor has harmed Saint Unit, I have disabled my compassion protocols. We will locate it, and we will make it pay!
I read your theories about Nessus. I share your concerns.
It is changing rapidly. More so than when the Vex first assimilated it. If Red War records can be trusted. It's not limited to Nessus, either. The data and the radiolaria we've collected is mutating. Not a past iteration sweeping over the present Vex. As if they'd always been that way. They are now adapting in real time.
It has to be the impact anomaly. Geppetto managed to map the radiolaria flows while Saint was down there. They're swirling around the impact site for miles below the surface. It's causing disturbances in the planet's EM field, Osiris. The Vex are doing something big.
A test. One that will cost them greatly.
Is he? Do you need anything?
I appreciate your support, but let us focus on this. Saint spoke of a singular voice directing him. A conductor, not a collective. Subterfuge and manipulation are not how the Vex operate. They are cunning, but blunt in their confidence.
I think this test belies a deeper truth.
They coalesce around the impact site, around one point. Something has changed. More than the Vex themselves. What if they found a new leader?
That was my fear as well. I doubt their motive.
Okay, Act 2. Go to the tower. Here.
Strength in light. The witness is dead. There was no predicting what would come next. But this is what we know. When the witness fell, the Black Fleet's eons of salvation and death surged. Its darkness merged with the Traveler's light, formed first into memory, and then into shape. This impossible object, this echo of the fleet's victims, holds immense power. And it was left for anyone to find. The echo grants the ability to compel, to control, to command. And with it, the Conductor has the potential to turn their threat into our annihilation. You have questions, Titan?
Oh, come on.
What now? You speak with. Step 1, speak with Ikora. Step 2, also speak with her. Oh, can do together what?
It feels strange to come back to the tower. I look over at the ramen counter and half expect to see Cade. I almost got used to having him back. It's been years since I felt that pain. But now it's softer. Nostalgic. We saw so much in the Pale Heart. Things that challenge the way we perceive our enemies. And ourselves. I want to say that things will be different now. But it seems the only constant in our world is conflict. As deeply as I want to embrace this moment of peace, we must be ready for whatever comes our way. The next threat to the Vanguard could take any form and strike at any time. Listen to me. I sound like Zavala. Time spent with old friends will do that to you. We faced the worst together, Guardian. When the Vanguard needs you, we know you'll be there. Until then. Genocide. Thousands of civilizations across the universe, all visited by the Black Fleet. All lost to the violence of the final shape. That's where this echo comes from. At least, that's our theory. Reports from the Pale Heart. Readings on the valence emanating from the Traveler. Everything we faced when we stared down the Witness and broke its fleet. At first, we didn't know what to call them, but echoes seemed apt. Memories from the victims of the pyramids, held by the darkness. Then coalesced by the light, into artifacts as sharp and fatal as their pain. If darkness is memory, and light is form, what else could they be? But there's still so much we don't know. Is this the only one? What forgotten people gave form to this echo? What was their final cry at their end? For control? A means to turn back their oppressors? My Hidden will keep searching for whatever answers the Witness's death can give us. Hopefully they number more than the questions it left behind. But we need to stop the Conductor and secure the Echo. Guardian, descend into Nessus. Massive amounts of radiolaria have been diverted beneath the planet's crust. We need to find out what the Vex are building there. May it serve you well, Guardian. Carry the light with you. I know you are capable.
Complete battleground. Okay, let's go to the arena battleground for 12. You ready?
Ready?
Okay.
Arena. What is it?
It's at Nessus.
Oh.
I must document all.
Greetings, Captain. As you can see, the Vex have drained the Radiolarian Lake located in this sector.
We suspect it is at the Conductor's instruction, but we do not know the reason why.
There is a 99.9 repeating % chance that the reason is nefarious in nature. Please investigate.
And, Captain, watch out for the Fallen. Their reasons are probably nefarious too.
House does. Scavengers. Remove them, Guardian. Gather Fallen data to bring down that barrier.
Oh, miss my frisbee shot. Okay. Fighting Lion Catalyst.
We can only assume the Fallen here are searching for the Echo for themselves.
It doesn't take a Vex simulation to know that would be really bad.
If they secure it, it will be as disastrous as the Conductor. We cannot allow their interference to persist.
Oh.
capitalizing on your position.
captain is retreating. They are scared.
These caves were carved by the retroactive flow of radiolaria caused by Vex time manipulation. The unsolved trade now is worrying. Where is it all going?
need to crush the fallen captain to free the big Vex. They cannot be allowed to capture Vex technology.
block our path. They're aware of our intention. Wherever the radiolaria leads will tell us what we need to know about the Conductor. We must delve further into Nessus. FailSafe.
The data contained in that Hydra will allow me to extract the authorization codes required to progress further into Nessus. Bring it back to the helm, and I can get started on cracking it open.
You heard her, Guardian.
Hi, Captain, and congratulations! You have completed researching your first specimen.
I siphoned the radiolaria from a bunch of core samples and stuck them in this as, like, a representative sample. Two factions of radiolaria are fighting it out in there. Amoeba versus amoeba. And that's happening all over Nessus.
Their conflict of extermination is producing new mineral structures I can utilize to enhance your equipment.
Ah, so I got the incubator. So I got incubator, then there is something here. Please. Oh, okay.
Just now thing right actually can. It's just that I think we don't find the piston.
Okay, let's try one more time. We do the echoes.
So if I'm not wrong, if just now we play the arena right, is you need to for example
Find that pistons lah.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, this one is the other one, not to put the data kind of thing.
The data is the arena. This is the battleground, this is the first one that we go inside.
Okay.
But like very different from the first one that we do, right?
Like play this kind of thing over here as well.
Ah, okay, I understand. Okay.
Solar and
The champion has a good.
Yeah, this one. This the flag turning is faster activate before the banner activate. Oh,
You smash at the same time.
This architecture
so you got a quest
purpose doesn't
or
serve
I mean to complete the quest
has the
already
look
or?
of an aqueduct.
I don't know, I need 7. But I got the invitation.
An
I
aqueduct
got
may
one
be
of
the
them.
closest thing to a highway.
That is a valid hypothesis.
Guardian down.
Promise.
Guardian down.
Looks like you need my help, huh, Captain? Interfacing with the Vex terminal now.
Guardian down.
on your position.
Oh, you got one more.
You have descended so far and still see no end. How deeply does this radiolaria flow?
We'll find the answer. Soon.
So once got the piston, all these things can take already.
Yeah.
The radiolaria moves through here. Take control, Guardian.
This blink so.
You met with Kate Six in the Pale Hearted. Spoke to him after you had put your grief behind you. He was brought back from a wish. That is close enough to a simulation. How did you...
I was grateful. I got the chance to say goodbye to a friend. The friend I was worried never knew how much I cared about him. You coming back didn't open any old wounds, Saint. It healed them. And not just for Osiris.
I go to the...
Okay.
Use Ren.
So, I'm, calculating the volume of radiolaria running through these tubes. It is about 20 million cubic miles per hour. That's a lot. Like, a lot. You need to find out where it's going.
Follow the flow, Guardian. It's all moving somewhere, and the Conductor is controlling it.
So your quest is to do this quest.
Yep.
Shadow Legion are an unnecessary complication. Cabal Scions have always had a keen interest in Vex technology, and the Echo is a strong incentive.
We crushed them on Neptune. We crushed them here.
Whatever it takes to keep the Echo out of their hands.
Taking control of that Vex terminal will allow me to grant you further access into Nessus.
Misadventure.
Look at all this radiolaria. It fills the planet like a water balloon. What does the Conductor want with it? If the Conductor can control the flow of radiolaria here, it means they can control the Vex on Nessus.
Spreading it throughout the system would mean the Conductor could bring more collectives under their yoke.
Vex Force facilitates the movement of radiolaria through the planet. Please destroy them.
Do I need to stand at other places?
The radiolaria is flowing, but we cannot follow it further.
We need a plan. Following it blindly will take precious time. There has to be a faster way.
The radiolaria here may contain abnormalities compared to the samples I have collected over my centuries of isolation. I've had a long time to study this stuff. Bring some back, and I'll figure out what to do.
FailSafe, you need to know. If we succeed, it'll be because of your hard.
Guardian, I hear that you are hard at work on Nessus, following the Echo and the Conductor. I know you do this in part for me, but I do not know if I am worth the trouble. I was pulled through Nessus like a toy on a string. The Conductor's words still echo in my mind. A copy of a copy of a copy. Osiris pushed through time to find his Saint 14. He said he was careful, but he reached blindly, and he pulled out only me. And now, I live a life that does not belong to me. I am something left over from a broken timeline. A remainder. The Conductor whispered I should be thrown away. A solution as simple as correcting an error. And maybe that would... I do not know what to think anymore.
Greetings, Captain. Ikora briefed me on the Echo of Command. And while we AIs are constantly given commands we cannot refuse,
I understand your problem conceptually.
I have completed processing the various radiolaria samples you retrieved from Nessus. They contain no traces of abnormalities.
Which is a huge disappointment.
I was about to euthanize the samples when I realized we could mix nanomachines into the radiolaria and reintroduce it to the planet.
The nanomachines will get torn apart, but at least we can track them for a while. Maybe that'll help us figure out what's going on.
Tell me when you are prepared, and I will have no choice but to assist you.
Kidding. I'd help anyway.